Hi folks, how you all doing? Crossdust6 here. Hope you all having a wonderful day, evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. And it's on the Vipera, the new Tier 8 premium Italian tank destroyer that's just come out today. What do I think of this tank? Well, I've got to be honest about it. I don't really rate this tank at all. I just don't see the relevance of this tank in the game. It's got a few flaws, shall we say. It really has. The frontal armor is supposed to be pretty good on this tank. It will bounce shots, but anything over 122mm cannon, forget it. They're going to pen you every time. Now, I've had about 17 games in this tank. Yeah, 18 games I've had in this tank, and I've got to be honest. It just doesn't cut the mustard. It really doesn't. In my opinion, it's just not that good. It's not that reliable. Most games, you're lucky if you'll break 1,000 damage. Most games, it's getting taken out very quickly. Side armor's crap on it. You know, the roof itself, if artillery hits you on the roof, it's going to take a lot of your hit points off. It just isn't that good a tank at all, I don't think. In regards to the shell types, the standard shell, you got between 200 and 220 pen, which isn't great, not the best. It's got 300 to 500 damage output, which is okay. Shell velocity 975. Your premium rounds, again, between 240 and 264 average pen, between 300 and 500 damage with 1150 shell velocity. Again, that's good. I guess if the standard round was that, it would make it a lot better. The high explosive round, again, 120 average pen, which is good. That's decent. But you will see tier 10s in this match and with this tank, and I just don't think it can cut the mustard. Anyway, let's take it out for a couple of games and you see what I'm talking about. My average damage in this thing, it's not great. Now, I'm not a unicum and I don't claim to be a unicum, but I do play a lot of tank destroyers. The majority of my tanks, a lot of them are tank destroyers, because I just enjoy that branch of vehicles. I get a lot of pleasure from it. So when this came out, I thought, well, this could be quite good. This could be quite a decent tank. And in all fairness, I'm quite disappointed with it, to be quite honest. I think Wargame could have done a much better job with this tank. I really do. It's got a 5-round clip, if you like, and I guess you've got to try and trick your enemy into thinking, well, has he fired 1 or 2 or 3 shots? Oh, I can't remember. And you kind of pull back in and try and do a reload. We've got 2 artillery in the games. You know, we should do okay in this game, hopefully, but it's really dependent, really, just on whether you get the shots in or not. That's the problem with this tank. It's got okayish frontal armor, but as I say, anything over 122mm, it's going to pen you pretty much every time. You've got to push in. If you try to snipe from afar, forget it, because the accuracy on this tank is pretty atrocious, to be quite honest. But let's see how we do. We're on Ghost Town. Let's see how we get on. As I say, there's 2 artillery, so I'm not expecting a lot from this. If you get spotted and artillery get a bead on you, you're going to struggle. You really are going to struggle. But let's see how we do. LT432, he's just about dead. See if we can get a shot in at him. Yeah, he's dead. Good. Detected. Okay. Okay, we've got the first shot in. I'm just not a big fan of this tank, and I feel quite disappointed, really, at the fact that, you know, Wargaming have basically made this tank the way it is, and it's, to me personally, I just don't think it's that good, to be quite honest. I think you're going to struggle with it. Yes, we got our first shot in there, but the accuracy on it is a lot to be desired. It really is. You see what I mean? Like, it's just crap. I really wouldn't I really wouldn't recommend buying this tank. I think it's a waste of money, to be quite honest. I think you could spend your money on other better things, in all fairness. Artillery's obviously got a bead on us, so we need to try and get out the way of him. Let's do the reload. It's a tank, it's more of a it's not really a brawler, but it's kind of a breakthrough tank until they know where to pen you. Once they find out where to pen you, then you're going to struggle. You're really going to struggle. And I'm finding with a lot of the games in this tank that it's just... the accuracy is crap. 6 seconds between shots. It's just not that great, in all fairness. Push forward, see if we can get anything. As you can see, look, right down the bottom of his lower glacis. I just find you just always struggle with this tank. That's the problem I find with this tank. You just always struggle. I just don't see the relevance of this tank. I really don't. Yeah, it's not. It wouldn't be my first option, that's for sure. It really wouldn't. Yes, you'll bounce shots, but it just wouldn't be my first choice. I've got to be honest. It just wouldn't be my first choice of a tank. But it's like anything, isn't it? I mean, as you can see, he's bouncing shots there. There you go. And that's a typical game, 742 damage. That is a typical game for me. It really is. It's just not a good tank. I find, in my humble opinion, as I say, I'm not a unicum. I'm no skills for you or Quickie Baby. I'm just your average Joe pub player. But I can't recommend this tank. I can't say, oh yeah, rush out and buy this tank because you'll make loads of silver credits and you'll have such a great time. It's not a new player friendly tank. I think they would get frustrated very quickly with this tank. Yes, the pros to it is it's got fairly decent-ish frontal armour, and the only real weak point is the very small part on its lower glacis. But anything with 122mm cannon is going to pen you every time. They're just going to pen you, and that's just how it goes. I can't recommend this tank. It's a frustrating tank to play. There's none of the games that I can say, oh yeah, that was a decent game. I enjoyed that one. Yeah, let's get on with the next one. I can't. I'm kind of... You play this tank and you kind of feel... It's just... That wasn't a good game. I didn't feel like I did much. And that's just how this tank makes you feel. Perhaps in the hands of a unicum, I don't know. I can't see this tank being played a lot after the first week or so of it being out. I just can't see that. I just think Wargaming have made a bit of a mistake, bit of a boo-boo. I think they do need to buff this tank, and this is the first day it's been released. And in my humble opinion, not that it counts for much, but in my humble opinion, I would say this tank needs a buff straight away, absolutely 100%. What should the buff? They should buff the gun handling, the accuracy. The accuracy needs to be a bit better than it is, because the accuracy at the moment is just atrocious. it's difficult to put this tank. It's not a breakthrough tank because anything above 122mm cannon is going to pen you pretty much every time reliably. You will see tier 10s and tier 9s, and they'll pen you like it's a knife through butter. Your tier 8s, yeah, they're going to struggle to pen you to the front if they don't know where to shoot you, but if they know where to shoot you, they're going to pretty much pen you. If they get around the side of the back of you, forget it. The gun arc on this thing is 45 degrees to the left and 45 degrees to the right, so 90 degrees, which is okay, that's fine, but it's the accuracy that lets this thing down, and the penetration value with a standard round is just, it's crap. It really is, it's just crap. And there's no way I could even remotely say, well, yeah, go and give it a try and see what you think yourself. I would say to you, save your money, don't go spend the money on this tank, because I just personally think it's just not worth the money. It really isn't. Genuinely, it's not worth the money. I just think it's a pile of shit, and it's just a cash grab by Wargaming, thinking, oh, well, we're bringing you tank destroyer line in, or let's make it Italian. Let's try and, you know, bum it up to say that it's this, that and the next thing, and how great it's going to be, and how you're going to have fabulous games in it. And I've got to say, out of the games that I've seen, there is a lot of these tanks that I've seen today, and are not breaking the 1,000 mark damage. They're just not doing it. So that really kind of says a lot. There's been, I don't know, probably 3-4 games where I've seen this tank do in excess of 1,500 damage, but not much above that, to be quite honest. So for me, how could you recommend something that just, it just doesn't seem to cut it? It just doesn't seem to be an enjoyable tank to play. It comes across as being quite boring, to be quite honest. Does that make sense? It just, it does. It comes across as a boring tank. It's a one-trick pony. You'll have one good game in it, and then you'll have about 10 crap games in it, and you'll think, oh, why did I even waste my money on this tank? Why did I waste my money? And you'll genuinely feel ripped off, and basically you've been conned by Wargame. That's how it'll feel. I mean, of course, at the end of the day, it's your choice as to whether you buy it or not. Nobody can tell you otherwise. But me personally, I would probably keep your money firmly in your wallet, and don't waste your time on this tank. Anyway, we'll get to the end of this game, and then we'll move on to a second game. So we made 29,745, but what did we actually make at the end of the day? We were down near the bottom, 742 damage, which is crap, let's be honest about it. Minus 28,000. We fired 11 shots, 8 direct hits, 2 penetrations. So as you can see, it's just, it just isn't, it really isn't that good. And if we come down to the kind of stats that I've got on this tank, now, as I say, I'm no unicum, far from it. I've played 19 battles in this thing, and it's just, it really isn't, it's just not that good. My average damage is 843. It's just not good. It really isn't that good, to be quite honest. I wouldn't waste your money with this tank. I really, genuinely, I would just save your money. Do yourself a favour and save your money. As I say, in the hands of a unicum, who knows? They probably do quite well in this tank, but it's really hard to place this tank as to how to play it, because it's crap from shooting from afar. The accuracy is just atrocious. 6 second between reload of round, which is okay, it's not bad, but the pen with the standard round is not particularly great. You'd need to start firing premiums, I would say, but then you've got to be fairly close in to try and not guarantee, but have a better chance of hitting your target and penning your target. And because of the crappy accuracy on the gun, even if you're in close, as you saw there yourself, this thing it just doesn't do it. It'll miss a few shots. Now, I just think Wargaming need to buff it straight away, and because it's not going to be a popular tank. I think in a week or so, you're hardly ever going to see these tanks out on the battlefield. I really do. I just think people are going to feel cheated, and I've got to say, I actually agree with them. I think it's a bit of a liberty, really, in all fairness. And I know you're going to say, but you cross your pain to win. No, I'm not. It's just that I love playing tank destroyers, and I think they're good to play. And I just think, you know, if it's something you enjoy playing, some people like playing heavies or mediums or lights or artillery. Me personally, I enjoy playing the old tank destroyers. But this one just, it's not that good. I would say the Turtle is better than this, and the TS5 is definitely better than this, without a doubt. Absolutely, 100%. So anyway, I'm going to push the 0 line. There's one artillery. We're in a tier 8 matchup. You will see tier 10s in this tank and tier 9s, and as soon as they get a bead on you, it's all over but shouting, because they'll pen you pretty much every time, in all fairness. So we'll see. Let's see how we do. Let's see how we do. I think it's... I don't know what the relevance of this tank is in the game. I've got to be honest, I just don't see the relevance of this tank. And I'm kind of struggling, because I really want to like this tank. I really want to say, oh yeah, it's a great tank. Yeah, once you learn how to play it properly, it's you'll do well in it, and you'll have a great time, and it's a fun tank to play, and you'll make loads of credits, and blah 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 blah, good crew trainer and all that kind of crap. But I just don't see it. I just genuinely, I don't see it. I just think it's a very lackluster, below mediocre tank, and that's how it comes across to me. And I don't think I'm the worst player in the world. I'm not the greatest, obviously, but I certainly don't think I'm the worst player out of the game. But I just struggle to see where this tank is within the game, if that makes sense. But we'll see. Let's see how we get on. Who knows? We might have a miracle here and do really, really well and do loads of damage and all that kind of crap. Let's see how we get on. But the accuracy on this thing is just garbage. It really is. It's so bad. It's just, you just play this tank and I think you just get bored of playing it very, very quickly, because it just doesn't feel like it's a good tank to play. See what I mean? The accuracy, it's just crap. It really is. Let's go for a reload. No doubt artillery are getting a bead on us now. I'd love to say some good things, some good decent things about this tank. I just can't. I just can't. I just think it's a one-trick pony. It really is a one-trick pony, this tank. And I think a lot of people are going to feel cheated with this tank. I really do. And I can't say as I blame them. There's nothing about this tank that I can say is even remotely good. I just can't say it. There's just nothing about this tank that I can say is good. I just can't. I just think this tank is just a pile of crap, and I don't even want to play it, to be quite honest. That's how it makes you feel. You just think, I just can't even be bothered playing this tank. It's just a shit tank. And I think a lot of people are going to feel like they've been cheated out of their cash with this tank. I really do. I just don't see the point in this tank. I don't. It makes this is a typical game. This is a typical game in this tank. 0 damage. Honestly, this tank is a pile of shit. It is. I just don't even want to play this tank. That's how it gets you very, very quickly. I just don't even want to play this tank, because it's a boring tank to play very lackluster stats. It's the cannon on it's not that great. The accuracy is shit. The frontal armor is probably about the best thing that's going for this thing. But anything with a 122mm cannon and above, forget it. Would I buy this? No. I would strongly recommend you don't buy it. Don't waste your money. I think this is one of the worst tanks that Wargaming could have brought into the game, but you make your own mind up. Nobody can tell you how to spend your money. It's up to you. It just doesn't do it for me. Basically, I just think it's a pile of shit. I really do. I just think this tank is the biggest pile of crap. And I wouldn't waste your money, but it's up to you. Anyway, at that, I'm going to leave it there, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope this gave you a little bit of insight into this tank. Who knows? Let's see. Let's watch this space to see how this tank performs out there. But I'm pretty confident within about a week or so, you'll hardly see these tanks on the battlefield, because people very quickly realise when they're being diddled, and I think Wargaming has done just that in this case with this pile of shit. Anyway, catch us in the next one, guys. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.